Hey all, this is Kasakma Keparu, and today I want to talk to you about the new Star Trek film Beyond, which is going to be released on July 22nd. Now, I've been watching the trailers that they released for this film, and I have to admit that I'm not really all that enthusiastic about it, and I'll tell you a little why. The first trailer they released was seen to be geared more toward action, and I think they realized that Star Trek is not about all action, or it's not trying to compete against Star Wars. So they released a second trailer which really got more into the story, in depth into the story and everything and what's going on in the Star Trek universe. But ever since Star Trek Into Darkness, they started to change their direction a bit. And many of the diehard Star Trek fans, the Trekkies, have not been happy with the direction, making it more geared toward action. And I think also Into Darkness had some issues with bringing back Khan from Star Trek 2. And so many fans felt it was rehashing old material. It wasn't original. It didn't focus enough on character. Star Trek is about diplomacy, about us trying to work our issues out, and everybody holding hands and understanding who we are, and venturing out into space, discovering new races of aliens. And it's not about like imperialism or star fights. It has that in there, but that's not the primary thing about it. It's about space exploration and discovering new worlds. And I think that a lot of that has gotten lost. So they're taking Paramount's now moving this more in toward the action. This new film, J.J. Abrams is not directing. It's going to be directed by Justin Lin. He did, I believe, he did the Fast and the Furious 6. So definitely an action director. And this Star Trek is budgeted at approximately $150 million. And it looks like Paramount originally was going to allocate more money for the film, but they took $20 million off the budget because of how Star Trek Into Darkness, how it did in the box office, which was it didn't do as well as expected as the first Star Trek. Star Trek Into Darkness was actually made for about $190 million, and it grossed about $462 million internationally, but only $228 million domestically. So they cut the budget for Star Trek Beyond to about $150 million. And I think that it's a wise choice. I think that you don't have to have these inflated budgets to make a good movie. I think that it's all about the story, it's all about the characters. But anyway, what I wanted to talk to you primarily about this film was Star Trek has a perpetual race issue, and even though Gene Roddenberry's vision and goal for the Star Trek universe was to be multiracial, different races, aliens, all working together for a common cause, there's always been this still hint of type of racism within Star Trek. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm a big Star Trek fan. I'm going to see Star Trek Beyond, no doubt, and I think you should see it. But if you look at the poster here, you'll see that I have to admit, this is a great poster, and it's reminiscent of the first Star Trek movie, Star Trek the Motion Picture. As you can see, Kirk, Spock. And I forgot the character's name, but she's a Deltan. That's an alien race, and she dies in the first Star Trek, and the whole idea was Voyager or Voyager. She played a robot, or she was killed and then resurrected into a robot. But this movie was a very interesting movie. They wanted to coin it as a Star Trek's version of 2001: A Space Odyssey, because you go on this real odyssey into space and meet this new alien, which turns out to be Voyager 6. And spoiler alert, but I'm pretty sure everybody's seen this film. It's many, many decades old. But I do love the poster for the new Star Trek Beyond. Like I said, it's reminiscent of that. And it has Kirk, it has Spock, the younger version of Kirk and Spock. And it has a new character of Jayla. She's an alien species. And I'm going to talk a little bit about her, because this is the thing that really concerns me about this new Star Trek. It's Jayla's character is this all painted white character. And I mean really glowing white. And, people may say, well, you're making a big deal out of this, but no, I mean, it's very, I've seen this done in a lot of other movies, and even Star Trek The Next Generation, in an entire episode, I don't know the name offhand, where it had these really like pale white aliens. And to me, this kind of leads into something, and this alone, okay, doesn't mean anything, but it then leads into something, which I'm going to bring on now, which is a wonderful, wonderful actor, Idris Elba, is going to be in the film. Now, they made a big hoopla about him, like, Idris is going to be in the film. They had this contest to announce it. He came out onto the Star Trek bridge, the Enterprise bridge, to talk about how he's going to be in the film. And much to my disappointment, yes, he's in the film, but what they're doing is they're putting him in this alien makeup. And he plays this alien called like Krull, and he, I guess it's a new threat, similar to like the Klingons, because now in this, I guess in this universe, the Klingons are still enemies, but in the Next Generation, the Klingons are members of the Federation. So, and also, if you didn't know, that the Star Trek universe is a parallel universe. It doesn't take place in the original Star Trek series from the 1960s. It's not the same universe. This is a parallel universe where the planet Vulcan has exploded. There's no Vulcans around. There's very few, in fact, Vulcans, because Spock saved a handful of them in the first Star Trek movie. So I guess this is Paramount's way of introducing this new alien race that can be similar to a Klingon threat. But I don't understand how you take an accomplished actor as Idris Elba, who has done, phenomenal work. He's done Beast of No Nation, Pacific Rim, which did really well in China, which explains why you have a Chinese co-star in it, and Luther, his TV show that really put him on the map. And you throw this accomplished actor who can act his butt off in all of this makeup, and make him, on top of that, a villain. I thought he was coming out as a head of Starfleet or a captain of some other Federation ship, and lo and behold, he's just under all this makeup. And I remember other Hollywood actors talking about how they turn down roles because they're not going to be put in all of this makeup. And Idris is a sex symbol. There's no doubt about that. Women love him. He's masculine. He's a great actor, has that really deep voice that women love. So I don't get this whole idea of throwing all this makeup on to where any actor could have played this villain. You will not even know it's him, And this is reminiscent of what they did with Star Wars. And they made this whole big hoopla over the Oscar winner Lupita Nyong'o, who won for 12 Years a Slave. They brought her out. They said, she's going to be in Star Wars The Force Awakens. They put her up there with the cast and all that. And then when you actually see the film, she's playing an alien. They do all this CGI stuff. And she plays Maz, this alien to your right. And I'm like, you would never know this is Lupita Nyong'o, an Oscar winner. What is the point then? Even her voice seems like they digitally, messed with it. And so there's just no way you would know it was her. And I think this is a better image of the character here to the left. And I make no bones about this. I did not like Star Wars The Force Awakens. And there were many reasons why I didn't like it, which I won't go into right here. But I just want to bring you back to the race issue. What I was speaking about before is that you have Idris Elba, who's this black actor, wonderful black actor, and you have this character of Jayla, played by, she's a great actress, Sophia Boutella, all in white, and she's like protagonist, Idris is the antagonist, and it just seems to me that this is on a subconscious level, there's this whole black and white thing going on. And I've noticed this about Star Trek, to where it talks about this universal love, we're holding hands, the kumbaya, all of this, but it's only in context to if the head of Starfleet or if those who are in power are still of Caucasian background. and those far down the ranks can be, a captain or an admiral, can be any other color, Asian, Latino, black, but the top heads always have to be Caucasian. And I've seen this a lot in Star Trek. And another issue that it has, it's a common issue, is that Star Trek is always taking the black woman and pairing her with a white guy, but very rarely, or if not ever, I can't even think of when I've seen it, where you have a white actress paired with a black actor in Star Trek in a very meaningful and romantic way, that they get together and are not separated. Because commonly Hollywood has this unwritten rule: if a black male gets together with a white woman, they can't stay together. One has to die, or one has to go on shore leave, or they're separated because the Federation assigns them to different vessels. Always something to that nature. And if you go back to the very, first Star Trek, you'll see where, here you have Lieutenant Uhura, and she's with Spock, and then, they're romantically involved. And then even back in the 19th series, the original Star Trek, you have Kirk and Uhura here, the first on-screen interracial kiss, and you have that there. But we've still not seen it where you have a black actor who hooks up with a white actress. Now, if you want to go back to some of the other Star Trek spin-offs, you may see something where I think Worf got involved with a woman who was white, but she was an alien species, but it never really was, you never really saw the romance there. You know what I mean? It never really blossomed into anything, and definitely not much of the on-screen kissing and affection and all that, which is what commonly Hollywood does, because they don't like to see a black man with a white woman in a very romantic, affectionate way. They tend to not allow that, and I remember George Lucas, when he did Red Tails, the black character had to die at the end because he was supposed to be married to the Italian woman, but his plane crashed. And then you can also see other examples of this Hollywood unwritten rule when you go into films. I think Will Smith did a film. He played a superhero, and Charlize Theron was supposed to be his wife, but turns out she was like kryptonite. And he couldn't hook up with her, so he had to stay far, far away. She had to be on the West Coast. He had to be, on the East Coast. And that film was called Hancock. Check it out. To me, it was like, what the hell? Yet that's his wife, Charlize Theron, Will Smith's wife, but she's almost like kryptonite, because when she comes close to him, he gets weak and becomes human. He's no more superhero. And I'm like, what is this subliminal message they're trying to put out there, But meanwhile, they have Kirk. Kirk is like, if you understand Star Trek, Star Trek, the original series, not the Next Generation, Kirk is with every color or species of woman there is. Purple, green, blue. He gets the woman, But yet, like I said, they still shy away from the reverse. Which, hey, it is what it is. And but going back to Star Trek Beyond, we enjoy the films. We love it. This one's going to be, again, directed by Justin Lin. We're going to see how well this film does. It is projected to make, in its first opening weekend, anywhere from $50 to $60 million. Let's see what this new direction is going to do in terms of adding more action. Let's see what this new director does, Justin Lin, how well he does, coming off things like the Fast and the Furious Part 6, and those two combinations, the more action, the change in director, and I don't expect to see a lot of lens flare, because J.J. Abrams loves the lens flare in all his films. And I love it too. It looks really fantastic. So let's see what happens with this new film and what Justin Lin does. He's a great director, and I'm excited for this. And if you can just or if you can just overlook the hints of the race issue and what they're trying to imply, and enjoy it for the action and Gene Roddenberry's original vision, it could be a great ride. So let's see what happens. And this is Kasak Ma Keperu for Project Illuminated, and that's all for now.